Hi, and welcome back to the Red Zone Warriors Fantasy Football Show. I am your host, Rob the Commish Smith, here as always with our proud Lions fan, Jay Cushman Corsel. How's it going today, Cushman?
Going well, going well. There's actual football on TV, so I have a throbbing, massive erection, like 24/7. Especially the Lions are playing tonight against the lowly Cleveland Browns without Josh Gordon. So I'm looking forward to watching the Lions kick some ass tonight, and hopefully this erection will go down at some point, or I might have to go to the hospital.
You'd have to go to the hospital. I've been there. Anyway, tweet us all your fantasy football questions at Red Zone Warriors. There's a lot of keeper questions going on right now. Which guy should I keep in what round? What's the best value? What's best for my team? So go ahead, tweet us at Red Zone Warriors. But in our next segment, we're going to cover the latest news and notes around the NFL. So, Jay, what do you got for us going on here?
All right, well, CJ.5K looked horrible as per usual in his first game as a New York Jet. Both Ivory and Belial Powell are both hurt. So Chris Johnson was the only show in town. And the guy dropped a pass on third down. He lacked bursts while running. He just rushed for 2 yards and a touchdown. I mean, yeah, it's nice to get a touchdown from a running back, but 2 fucking yards. CJ, 2 yards. There's no more fucking K at the end of that shit.
Yeah, sounds like he picked up right where he left off in Tennessee. All right, well, the Chicago Bears tight end Martellus Bennett was suspended indefinitely for conduct detrimental to the team and fined an undisclosed amount after he went all WWE on cornerback Kyle Fuller, body slamming him, yes, body slamming him into the ground at practice last Monday, August the 4th. Bennett later referred to himself in a subsequent interview as the most ferocious player on the field for the Bears. Jay, remind me never to say anything, and I mean never to say anything about Bennett's mother when in earshot of Soldier Field.
Well, don't do that. It'd be a bad idea. And I think this year Bennett, if he scores a touchdown, his dance is gonna bring us back to Macho Man. He's gonna be like, "Oh yeah!" It's gonna be great. So the Falcons' 4th-round pick, Mr. Devonta Freeman, who has obviously been featured quite a bit on Hard Knocks, at least the first episode. He was the number 3 back through Atlanta's rotation on Friday night's preseason opener. Although his depth chart slot was disappointing, although expected, after a slow start to camp, Freeman's performance was not disappointing. He parlayed 10 carries into 50 yards. He took a reception 57 yards to finish with 107 all-purpose yards, despite opening the game behind Quiz Rogers and Antone Smith. Freeman is a good bet to pass both of those guys on the depth chart before the season starts, especially if he maintains this level of productivity. The Falcons want to see more from Freeman as a pass blocker, so he'll continue to get some opportunities, especially with Steven Jackson out with a hamstring indefinitely. So this guy definitely is somebody to look at in fantasy. You can probably get him fairly late. So Devonta Freeman, everybody.
Yes, and I loved how you weaved the word parlayed into that. That was good stuff. All right. Cam Newton described the lingering pain in his ankle as a thump when he moves on it incorrectly. Jay, is it just me, or is hearing a thump when moving around when you're a mobile quarterback a concern?
Big one.
I think it might be. It's entirely possible, however, that Newton's surgically repaired ankle will be forgotten once the games start, but also possible that these are legitimate red flags. He's quoted as saying, "It's a thump. It's like a thump from your mom when you said something that you weren't supposed to. She'll thump you dead in your ear or on your head. It'll hurt for a second, it'll go away after 2 to 3 minutes. That's just a reminder that, hey, you better check yourself," says Newton. His current ADP is late 7th round. He's fallen enough that we believe he's well worth the perceived risk. Cam drafters may also want to secure a second quarterback a bit earlier than usual. However, I completely agree there. That sounds a little sketchy to me.
Yeah, I'll be staying away from Cam this year unless I can get him later than the 7th. I mean, that's just a bit scary to me. I don't like the sound of thump.
Yeah, that's not good, especially in your ear. All right, so we're going to move on. That's it for the news and notes to the ADP Watch with the Cushman. So, Cushman, who do we have rising up and down ADP boards of late?
Well, we're moving on up to the side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky.
All right, well, we'll start with the up guys. Rashad Jennings, as we've been mentioning every week, keeps moving up the draft board. He's risen from the middle of the 5th to the middle of the 4th rounds. Starting to get a little bit high. I really am high on this guy, but man, that's starting to get a little bit early, guys. Everybody slow down, slowly roll, take a deep breath. It'll be okay. Believe it or not, the woman beater, Ray Rice, scum of the earth, has risen from the late 6th to the late 5th. Are you forgetting he's suspended for 2 games? Or is everybody giving him a standing ovation because he's a victim of some bullshit? I don't want to get into it. The guy's an asshole. Lamar Miller is also on the rise, going from the late 7th to the late 6th. This guy will be rising more than that, I'm sure, because nobody has any confidence in Noshan Moreno's fat ass to do anything. Moving on to the guys that are going down. Believe it or not, Arian Foster has moved down from the beginning of the 2nd to the end of the 2nd. Now, that's not a huge bunch of movement, but beginning of the 2nd to the end of the 2nd is quite a big deal. I would definitely take Foster at the end of the 2nd before I would take him at the beginning. He does have those injury concerns and whatnot. So, Bishop Sankey has dropped a bit from the middle of the 4th to the middle of the 5th. Not really looking too much to draft Bishop Sankey myself, but for those of you looking at him, he's moving down a little bit for you. Guy I'm high on, Pierre Thomas, has dropped almost a round of value, going from the early 5th to the late 5th. So that can keep happening, and it will make me happy because in PPR leagues, Pierre Thomas will be a beast this year. So that's it for the ADP Watch this week. Back to you, Rob.
Well, that's interesting on Pierre Thomas. I'm looking forward to sniping him from you in our draft here next week.
Yeah, you better take him in the 2nd then.
On our next show, we'll be breaking down the major training camp headlines and position battles in the NFC. So join us next week for that, when the commish will be here alongside me in the beautiful state of Denver, Colorado. In the meantime, go to redzonewarriors.com where you can watch previous episodes, see our rankings, and subscribe to and rate our show via iTunes. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and tweet us all your fantasy football questions at RedZoneWarriors. So for the Cushman, I am Rob the Commish Smith, and remember, if you are taking a fantasy off season, you are already losing. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.